All right, we have a lot to break down with your Saturday forecast, but first I want to talk a little bit about what happened yesterday. One of our Fox 4 storm chasers, Nick Busby, caught a shot of this rain-wrapped, likely tornado near Penelope and Hill County. This developed in northern McLennan County and ended up lifting to the north. Now, the second video is from Barry, and this was sent to us from Shane Brooks. This was from Navarro County, and you can see too, you could actually start to see that funnel lower, but this is also rain wrapped, very difficult to see due to the very heavy rain that was falling across southern and southeastern parts of North Texas yesterday and northern parts of central Texas. A very active weather day across North Texas for us and a very active weather day across the Midwest. The National Weather Service sending out a couple of survey teams to determine the strength of those likely tornadoes across western Navarro County and two likely tornadoes in McLennan County. These little blue bubbles that you see right there on our storm reports map, those are reports of hail. So we saw a couple of cells lift from the southwest to the northeast late morning yesterday, impacting parts of Tarrant County close to the DFW airport. Those little blue bubbles that you see right there, that was one cell that at one point was producing hail up to the size of golf balls. So what we ended up seeing with that cell was it kind of pulsed up and then it ended up collapsing on itself. And this was all before the tornado warnings that were in place across parts of Hill County, Navarro County, and then off into eastern parts of North Texas. I saw a couple of folks asking about Van Zant County and the tornado warnings that we ended up seeing issued in Van Zant County due to that radar indicated circulation. At this point, the National Weather Service not planning on sending a survey team out there, and that's thanks to the fact that the damage pictures that were sent in were mainly just a few trees that were down. So what likely ended up happening was that circulation was spotted on radar and then a funnel never actually reached the ground. Now let's break down our Saturday forecast. Lots going on over the next 24 hours. Satellite and radar right now is quiet. A couple of spotty showers across far east Texas this morning, and a couple of storms have developed well to the north and west of the Wichita Falls area. Wind gusts since midnight, these have stayed pretty strong. We've seen gusts between 20 and 25 miles per hour. A wind advisory is in place today to account for wind gusts over 40 miles per hour. The first part of the day today starts off quiet. In fact, maybe a couple of showers out east this morning, maybe a couple of showers by midday. We should climb into the low 80s this afternoon. But here's the part of the forecast that gets a little bit tricky. We have a conditional threat in place for two potential rounds of storms. The first is the conditional part. The second we have more confidence in. The Storm Prediction Center issuing a moderate level 4 risk for severe weather for areas to the north and northwest across our North Texas counties. This is for the conditional threat. This is the if part of the forecast, thanks to a stout cap that's in place across North Texas. If we get enough heating to the north and northwest later on this afternoon, that will break the cap and we could see storms develop quickly and become severe quickly. All the parameters are in place too for a potential severe weather outbreak, but that will mainly be for areas to the west and northwest. That basically, the reason why the Storm Prediction Center upgraded to that level 4 moderate risk is because if storms are able to break the cap, they will become severe quickly with all the parameters in place for significant storms, including a few tornadoes. So if we see that cap break, you're going to want to start paying attention to the radar early to mid-afternoon and then again through the early evening hours. The second part of the forecast, I'll show you in just a bit, but I will say too, our short-range high-resolution models have really struggled with whether or not this cap breaks later this afternoon. This is one of our high-resolution models. It keeps most of the activity to the north and west and keeps the cap in place across North Texas. If that is the case, if the cap stays put and it does not break, that means the atmosphere is not worked over, and we're talking a more significant severe weather threat for a line of storms arriving overnight tonight. That line of storms will still push through, even if we see some of those storms develop to the north and west later today. That line of storms Okay, the timing looks like this. So we start to see storms develop, forming a line late tonight, likely crossing over the Metroplex in the form of a squall line between about 2 and 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. As this happens, anytime we talk about a squall line across North Texas, very high winds are expected, as well as the potential for a few brief spin-up tornadoes along the leading edge. You can see this is one of our short-range models, too, showing the development of that line eventually pushing off to the east by tomorrow morning. Okay, that's a lot, and I'll break it down a little bit more in about 30 minutes. But on your forewarned 7-day forecast, most of that activity clears out tomorrow morning, leaving us with a quiet end to the weekend.